Well, I'm glad you can't see me while I'm recording this because if you didn't think I could look any more dorky, I'm actually doing this while in my beekeeper outfit. So, mixing business with pleasure. Time to drain some honey from the old hive. Anyway, so what I wanted to do, since we've got a Sunday before us, is I thought I'd just do a quick video about the items in my futures watch list that I found interesting. These are continuous contract futures. That is, they have chained together all the various contracts through time and adjusted them appropriately so you get kind of a nice long-term view. So let's just thumb through them, 17 of them, alphabetically. Starting with Brent crude oil. This has defied gravity, continues pushing higher and higher. And in spite of that, as I mentioned yesterday, I've got a Schlumberger and Marathon oil shorts. But yeah, oil seems to be just putting its hands on its hips and going higher in spite of everything else going on in the world. Or maybe because of everything else going on in the world. But a little bit of an unreadable chart right now. Here's crude oil in the same vein. This had topped out beautifully here, topped out beautifully here, and looked every bit the part. For the longest time, it was just like slowly creeping down, and it's like, screw you guys, up it goes. So I don't know if this is going to work out in the end or not. This pattern's kind of wrecked. Where to lay that pink down is a bit arbitrary, but this is probably generous as it is. I mean, it probably should be more along the lines of like this, The pattern got ruined a while ago because oil's been going up for months at this point. So TBD. Here's the Dow Jones futures, a little clearer. Broadly speaking, of course, since the financial crisis, we've been in a broad uptrend. Happily, the next leg of that uptrend was aborted by way of this failure. It was looking very, very grim for the bears late in July. It's just like, just doom. And then it just pooed all over itself. So that's encouraging that's soured. Here's the ES and same notion. We had our bullish setup here. We had our bear setup here, which is starting to express itself. The looming question is, how far down can it go? Those of you who watched my video yesterday saw I didn't have much optimism for the downside potential. In this instance, the level is down at around 41.86, which is about 135 points from here. Nice, I'll take it, but it's not the end of the world. So this will be a big question mark if we get down here. So just in my head, what percentage is that? I guess a little more closer to like 3% or so, but 2 to 3%, gosh, hard to get excited about that. The puzzlement remains, so many of my charts look fantastic on an individual basis, but the market as a whole viewed as this, not a heck of a lot of juice to squeeze out of the lemon, it seems. Here's France, which weirdly burst out of its own massive topping pattern a long time ago. The last time this looked good was in kind of Thanksgiving 2022. It looked really good, of course, late in September, and it completely aborted that. I don't know what magic did it in France to juice this thing. But now it's been forming this smaller, higher top like so, highest in history. I don't even know what do the French make? I have no idea. Renaults, but whatever they're doing well because they're like up in the ionosphere. Here's gold, which has been junk for a long time. Its glory days really ended in August of 2020. Since then, it has just been circle jerk. Just really doesn't know what to do with itself. And now it's falling away from this right triangle top. And I suspect the trend line below that price there is the next logical zone of support, which is around about 1750 or so. Heating oil, kind of unreadable, much like crude oil. This is really more like down there. So here again, it was sort of breaking down. It just went flying higher thanks to, I guess, geopolitical stuff. Coffee, most of us here don't trade commodities. Maybe nobody does, but kind of interesting chart to itself. Commodities are a funny thing because, like, if you look at, say, feeder cattle, it is sky high, just incredibly expensive. Whereas things like wheat and coffee, they did burst for a while there, but they just sort of like withered away lately. So commodities is very much a mixed bag. Here's the Nikkei, which itself was just range bound for a long time. Finally cut above it in May of this year, and that's just messing around in this zone. Dull, boring, uninteresting, don't trade it. Here's the NQ, and definitely I'm interested in this. The next question mark is, can it break through this blue zone here, which not only is a beautiful support here and here, it's very much proved itself as a reliable support, but as a Fibonacci level. So if we can break that, that is a big deal. I would say it sets us up not only to break this level, but ultimately get down to this nice bright red line down here, much more than 2 to 3%. So the week ahead is just terribly, terribly important. Gasoline, meh, whatever. RTY, always interesting. It's been in the sine wave for a while, quite nicely, quite remarkably, really. I am long IWM November puts, and best case scenario, get back to this red line. That's my fondest hope. Here's sugar, which is doing very nicely. Kind of like, it's basically stuff that's really bad for you is doing great. Beef, sugar. So things like wheat, they're kind of trashed. But yeah, sugar's doing very well. Here's old wheat. Look at that. After Ukraine, who knows what silly projections there were, like bread will be $100 a loaf, or God knows what. It went blasting higher, completely gone. Just absolutely collapsed. Fortunes were made and lost in this, guarantee it. That is a tremendous move. And we usually does this, which is a whole lot of nothing, just kind of ambles around. But that was extraordinary. YM, the Dow Industrial, you kind of seen this before by way of the /DJ. This probably merits a semicircle of its own to sort of illustrate how it pooped out. A couple more. Here's the bond futures, which if you study it very closely are in a downtrend. They were in an uptrend for decades that terminated with great flourish back in March during the COVID madness and has been collapsing ever since. And this may well rally some more, but I would say this is a very powerful resistance zone right here. Right, like so. In fact, I'm be a little more conservative. Let's drag this up to the price gap. This really belongs more like there, like so. Yeah. And then finally, gold again. This is kind of ending with a whimper, not a bang. Not much else to say about that. But you know what? I'm all about making content, so there you go. There's another one. So that'll be it. Looking forward to the week ahead. Bye-bye.